Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to today's program. Friends, we're glad to have you wherever you may be around our still great country. And we have some very sad news to report today. Some of you already know about it, but I'm sure that many in our viewing audience will not. Jim Clark has been on our program many times, and he was certainly a great friend and one of my own personal heroes. It wasn't just me. He was friend to a lot of people, and he was certainly a heroic figure to so many of you out there, so many people in the shooting fraternity all over the United States, for that matter all over the world. And we lost Jim Clark on the 7th of January in the morning. And we had, on our gospel program, we had asked our prayer group to remember Mr. Clark last fall. A lot of you will remember that he had some very serious heart problems. He has had serious heart problems for a long time. And we're so thankful for every extra day that he was granted to be among us, because he was truly an inspiration to myself, to so many people. And in the next program, in a half an hour, we're going to be talking about, many times you can judge the size of an individual by the size of their tracks. And let me tell you what, Mr. Jim Clark left some gigantic tracks for all of us who care about shooting. But he served as an example of character, of what a decent man should be, of the example that a grandfather, a father, and certainly a good friend could set for the rest of us. Of course, we want to give our sympathy, our thoughts, feelings, and our prayers to the Clark family, because no one will feel the loss of Jim Clark greater than his wife and his children. And certainly we hope that they do as well as they can, because let me tell you what, Jim Clark cannot be replaced. There's not another one like him, and he will be missed greatly. And we'd like to dedicate today's programs to the memory of a truly great American, Jim Clark of Princeton, Louisiana, who died on January 7th. Well, friends, we're glad to have you with us. We have a great show for you today. We're going to include an interview that we took some time ago with Mr. Clark. I know that many of you will enjoy seeing that. And we have a number of things to talk about on today's program. We do appreciate you joining us. So we'll be right back after the break with more of The Shooting Show.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now, friends, here's one of the most important publications you can get. This is a great Georgia Arms catalog, and please write their phone number down, 1-800-624-6861. This is a tremendous catalog with the best ammunition prices available in the United States. Okay, well, here's a mention of The Shooting Show. Hey, that's reason enough to support them right there. But you get superior ammunition at superior prices. Let's look over here. Whoops, let's see, what do we see? 460 Rowland, yes indeed, but we also see a tremendous number of other things. 45 ACPs, 44 Magnums, 41 Magnums, certainly our defense load there, defense special 41 Magnum load available, but all kinds of others. 9mm, 357 SIGs, 44 specials, 30-06s, 7 mags, all kinds of neat stuff. Plus they have components. If you want to load your own, they'll sell you lead bullets, they'll sell you nostril bullets, all kinds of great features. Yes, in fact, they'll even sell you a 460 Rowland kit for the great 1911 guns. Cleaning accessories. Here's gunpowder for sale, loading equipment for sale. Friends, give them a call today. These are some of the finest people, period, that I've ever had a chance to meet. Curtis Shipley and our good friend Larry Haney from Georgia Arms, and they're helping to support the shooting show. Give them a call today. Get a free catalog, 1-800-624-6861. And please don't forget to tell them you saw it here on our show. Now, friends, we're going to look at a handgun today that has recently been adopted by some of the more elite units in our U.S. military. This is the HK USP, and a lot of us have known about and have owned HK guns in the past, and they have always been consistent for durability and quality and certainly accuracy. This is somewhat a departure from some of the things that we've seen from HK in the past. This particular gun has a control arrangement very similar to what we're used to seeing on the 1911 type guns. Here is your safety here, but it's available in a number of different versions. You can get it with the safety on this side, you can get it in double action only, a number of different versions, but for our purposes today, this is the 45 Auto from HK, and this is the full-size model, which is a little shorter, say, of course, than our compensated 460, but compared to the 1911, it's comparable in size, maybe a little fatter, of course, than the 1911. It has a grip or a frame that allows for a high-capacity magazine. Of course, for those of us who are civilians, we can purchase the 10-round magazine, which is what these guns come standard with. There is another model, a compact model, that we're anxious to test in the future because these guns have really built a reputation for being rugged and reliable. Similar to the Glock and the Smith & Wesson Sigma, you have a polymer frame here, and we're going to compare this frame with some of the other versions out there in just a moment. But the gun feels good in the hand. It has a nicely feeling finish on the grip, a non-slip feeling, and this particular gun has night sights, which you can see very well in the dark. Very easy to see, very plain sights. It is a double action, or shall we say a selective action auto pistol, because the gun can be carried, hammered down, and we know this gun's empty. Let's check. We check them 3 times to be sure the gun's empty, of course. Anyway, here's how it works. The gun can be carried, and you will notice this large trigger guard, so someone wearing gloves, of course this gun is made in Germany, and it's a lot of cold weather over there, and they want to be sure and have it so someone using gloves could still operate the pistol. But here's how it works. You can carry the gun with the hammer down, trigger in the forward position there with safety off, and shoot the gun double action like so. And of course, after the first shot, the gun will go into the single action mode, and it has a much lighter trigger pull. I don't know what the material is, the trigger. It looks to be made out of some kind of high-strength polymer itself. But our next option, of course, we can carry hammer down with safety on, where nothing happens, nothing will happen until you push the safety off. And of course, it can be carried with the hammer cocked and safety locked on, whereas nothing will happen. It does not have a grip safety, and most of us are not going to want to carry this gun with the hammer cocked and the safety locked on. Now then, it also has a decocking feature. Now watch, we'll push the safety off, and the first detent is on fire. In the next detent, watch, push down, and it decocks itself safely. So you don't have to worry about your hammer slipping out from under your thumb during decock, This is, for this type of gun, I see this as a good feature. Now then, what we've got to be aware of is in the event of a situation that you'd be nervous, or a combat type situation, some of us might have a tendency to over push the safety down all the way, and the gun won't function until the safety is in the fire position. So this is going to take some extra training, I suppose. Certainly would be a good idea, but these are overall very well thought out and robust guns. Well, let's get a shooting impression. I think we've got 5 or so rounds. Remember, these are 10-round magazines that come with this particular gun. And I haven't shot this gun before. You're learning right along with me. So let's see how it feels in recoil. Watch it in my hands today. Certainly it is a lightweight gun, or lighter than, say, the standard 1911, but recoil's not bad. Certainly not. And again, with the reputation these guns have for being rugged and reliable, we're going to take a hard look at converting this HK USP to our 460 Rowland cartridge. We are in process on that now. It does have certainly some recoil, but it's not objectionable. To take the gun down for field stripping, it is very simple. Of course, first take the magazine out and be sure that the gun is unloaded. I check them, as many of you know, 3 times. We'll pull the gun, slide back to the detent here over the slide stop pin. We'll push out the slide stop, which is not hard. It's got, of course, it's spring loaded. May take your fingernail there to do this. Now then, and just pull out the slide stop pin, and then the slide, or top part of the gun, will simply go forward. Now it does have an advanced recoil system here. It's a recoil buffer and a spring within a spring, which I think is a good system. And as I said, we're going to experiment with this particular gun, converting it to our 460 caliber. It is a Browning type action. The way the gun cycles, the barrel drops down after a certain amount of rearward travel on the frame. The barrel drops down out of the way. The slide continues to the rear, ejecting the spent hull and picking up another one from the magazine. A very robust and strong extractor. But here's what really sets it apart is the frame. So let's take a look at the difference in the HK frame as compared to the 1911 different designs.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Friends, many of you know that Dennis Crocker is making these great Kramer holsters available for our full-size 460 1911s, but he also has holsters for guns like this 3-inch model 625 in .45 caliber. He also has holsters for many other types of handguns, such as this Kimber Compact in .460 made of shark skin. And of course, he also offers magazine carriers. If you want the best holster money can buy, certainly from Kramer, Give Dennis Crocker a call at area 864-587-8722. Again, area 864-587-8722 for these great Kramer holsters for whatever gun you may have. Now friends, this is a standard 1911 type frame. This is one of the great Kimbers, of course. And you'll notice how we have frame rails here that mate with the slide. Very strong, good arrangements. Been around since 1911 on this particular gun. Now then, let's see a variation of this, which will be the Kimber polymer. And here we have a metal piece that is molded into the polymer frame, and it's proven to be very strong. It's very light, but this is something similar to the people with Strayer Vought, the SV, STI, those companies have been using. And this is the Kimber polymer. See, we have metal here, all here, molded into a polymer frame. Again, very lightweight application. And of course, this is a wide body, or the higher capacity round magazine. Now then, here is the HK frame. Now I want you to see, here are the metal tabs, literally, molded into the frame, and that doesn't look like much, I know, but these guns have a terrific reputation for strength and durability. This is similar in concept to the Glock, and of course the Glock frames have held up remarkably well over these years. They have been being used here in this country. So even though this doesn't look like, as compared to the frame on our standard 1911, it doesn't look like much, to tell you the truth, but it does work. And again, these guns are characterized by a great durability and strength. And we're very anxious to try this with our 460 conversion to see how it's going to work. Very simple. Here is the trigger bar right here. This is what manipulates the hammer there via the trigger, or trigger does the work there by this little bar. So it is an interesting concept. Very, very lightweight. I would imagine relatively inexpensive to make, although this is a talk about your space age polymer combination here. Quite innovative. HK has always been a company to do things the way they thought best, and this gun is no exception. Now, everyone's question on the HK, bear in mind that this is one of the new service pistols for the United States military, some of the elite units there. And you know, the proof, it's so often said, the proof's in the pudding. So let's see what it does in comparison. Now, still, the 1911 design, and as far as I'm concerned, and most others in the shooting community, is still the high watermark of semi-automatic pistol design. And we have proven that in many ways over these past years. Certainly our 460 Rowland has really showed the inherent strength in the basic design that John Browning came up with. This is a monumental design, the great 1911. And listen, this is the real world. Let's compare our HK 45 to the finest example that I'm aware of that's being manufactured now on the production line. This is one of the Kimber 45s. And let's just see how it does. We have our timer on here. A little windy out today, but certainly a great day to be out shooting. That's one of the things about being in the South. We will get a reprieve from the cold, and today it's going to be around 80 degrees here. Listen, second week in January, that's not bad at all. We're very pleased about that. Let's run a time trial. We'll run a drill that we might run in our GRA action shooting. Some other disciplines might run this particular drill. We're going to shoot twice on this target, once on this target, once on the other paper target, and we'll stop on our steel target over here. So to be fair, we'll go from the cocked and locked position. Certainly want to give the gun every consideration here. And let's do it. Let's go ahead and load it. Safety on. First target twice, the others once. Let's see how it performs. I'm doing this right along with you for the first time. Let's see. Turn our timer on. And again, Mr. Average here. We're not talking professional shooter. We're talking like you or someone else out there is a gun enthusiast. Certainly, most of you would at least equal my abilities with a little practice. Okay, let's see how it runs. Punch the timer. Low ready position. Okay, we had good hits here, good hit there. A little bit low on the third target, and of course our steel target is still ringing. So we won't bother to tape our targets. 2.25 seconds, 2.25 seconds. All right, let's try our 1911. Same drill. See how it holds up as a comparison, because that's what these guns are for, is for personal protection. And a scenario like this is similar to what one might actually have to face. So let's do it. 2.25 seconds for the HK with one hit slightly below the rectangle there on the third target. See what our 1911 does. Same ammo, of course. Okay, and essentially the same run on hits, but I was a little bit quicker. I was 1.97 seconds. Now then, that's one run. And our HK is a somewhat lighter gun than the 1911. It is certainly in the ballpark. No, it isn't, at least in my hands. Of course, I've shot a 1911 quite a bit, and that may certainly prejudice me a little bit there in my handling, but certainly it wasn't that far away, 1/4 second away on 5 shots, but certainly it is competitive. Now, where this gun will really shine is someone that has to carry an auto that can be carried safety on with hammer down. A lot of the police agencies are uninformed, uneducated, untrained, and they're nervous about carrying a 1911 type gun cocked and locked, which is the way the gun was designed to be carried. But a lot of the police administrators don't know that, so the HK would be a good option for those who like the .45 caliber, who want a safety, who want a strong and reliable gun.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Now for our support group friends, we want to remind you that a broadcast copy of our shooting shows are archived at Jim's House of Videos. You can find him at area 318-869-0439 or on the internet at www.jimshouseofvideos.com. We want to recognize Custom Leatherwork and Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Their number is area 225-667-9225. And Brooks Communication in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Their number is area 505-888-2929. And to have your gun stock painted, call Camouflage Technologies at area 909-674-6488. Also in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, we have Cottrell Refrigeration, Heating and Cooling. Wage numbers area 256-381-1887. And for heavy equipment rentals, call Gearlings Equipment Rentals at area 909-354-6476. And now we'd like to close our program today, friends, by sharing a remembrance of Mr. Jim Clark. Miss Clark, just out of curiosity, you're from this area originally, is that right?
No, from Texarkana.
From Texarkana.
But I moved here in 1939. and I went to service in World War II. And when I got out in 1946, I had a pistol I needed fixed. So I went down to little Spring Street gun shop, Lomax Gun Company called it. That was Horace Logan, who used to be the MC of the Louisiana Hayride.
Oh, that's true. Horace Logan was a pretty famous guy, wasn't he? He really was.
Yeah, and he was a skillful guy. He was a good gunsmith.
Mm-hmm.
But Horace liked to talk. And he just literally talked himself out of business. But anyway, an old fellow named Rudolph Telley invited me to go out to the pistol range on Wednesday, and I did. Had an old GI 45 and a box of GI ammunition, and I went out and shot pretty good. And that whetted my interest, and I started going back on a regular basis then.
Well, now, of course, you left out the part of World War II. Now, you had a service there. You were in the Marine Corps, World War II, and you had quite a bit of experience
in the Pacific. And I was a sniper, and did a bit of shooting.
Well, that was a very dangerous position you were in, and I'm sure that a lot of people today have seen movies and all on snipers. It's not a very glamorous.
No, wasn't that either.
Wasn't that either. Well, you became interested in working on guns when?
When I got shooting, I shot my first match with 3-bar guns. In fact, I shot my third match with 3-bar guns also. Anyway, I found out that you couldn't buy a desirable gun on the open market, and so I investigated and went to work and made them like they should be.
See how, and when we're talking desirable gun, you're talking about a gun that would shoot up to what you needed to do.
That's right. Target sights, and the whole thing. Well, what it amounted to, we took a stock car and made it a race car.
Mm-hmm.
That's
essentially
what it amounted to. Yeah.
And of course, later on, you wound up being quite a competitor back in the 50s.
Well, yeah, I set 64 records.
64 records.
I was a civilian champion 6 times, and I was an overall champion once, 1958. And the thing that's unusual about that is it's always been subsidized. It's either police or military.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And somebody helped me, but I did it all on my own.
You built your own gun,
Yep.
financed your own trip,
Yep.
bought your own bullets,
Yep.
and went up there and whipped them. So,
What was a pleasure, I say I get much pleasure out of it, was at the height of the military program.
mm-hmm. James Edwin Clark Sr., born February 15, 1923, left this world on January 7, the year 2000.